All right, here we go. Audio test 1, 2, 3. There we go. There we go. Right screen. We're on the right screen now. All right. Good morning, y'all. So a few minutes late today. Here we are on NASDAQ futures. Blue line is the 9:30 open. I had troubles with one of my contact lenses, so I couldn't. I was trying to get it to sit cleanly in my eye throughout all of this, which is fine. It looks like a little bit of seek and destroy kind of thing. You can see I kind of had some fair value gaps inversions labeled here. And so yeah, let's get situated here in the charts. I already did my pre-market analysis. I did my pre-market mental frameworks. So prices in between PD arrays on the 1 hour. To me, here on the 4 hour, looking heavy. We've taken external range. So I'm expecting some form of internal range rebalance. Finding support on the previous day low right now currently. So on the daily, we tapped into this gap, which if it's super bullish, that might be all it needs. The 4 hour does look overextended. I would like to see some rebalancing on all of the assets. So what do we got? We're on a 4 hour fair value gap currently. So we're in between 4 hour gaps, in between 1 hour gaps. So for me, I feel like I want to see price come down in here. So you can see this arrow. I feel like if price came down, I'd be interested in a long. If price even came up, I'd be interested in a short. I feel like in this zone right in here, kind of sketchy. We can see YM did stop on all of this liquidity, making it look a little bullish, at least on this chart here. Oh, wow. I'm looking at the 1 minute over here. So this bullish inversion breaker failed. Now it's forming a new bearish one. Here's the first presented fair value gap too. And we can see we're also between first presented fair value gaps. We have news coming up at 10 a.m. Going over here to the 15 minute. The 15 minute looked like to me it wanted to potentially retrace back up into here. We have the opening range gap, new day opening gap, new week opening gap right above us, super small. This is Monday before we have non-farm Wednesday, actually. So here, this 15 minute, that's looking like a nice reversal candle. There is bearish SMT. I don't think I'm interested in a short in this zone though. So hovering right around midnight open. Asia, how far did it move? So Asia moved 10 handles, 9.5 handles. Overnight we saw 500, 140 handles of movement. Or points, excuse me. So it is some movement. Well, I guess technically the move started here, but what time is that? 6:15, so the opening. 1,300 ticks overnight. Did notice these equal highs above. Looks like YM is going for it. So here, just making this note to myself. YM long at 9:30 was the trade. I'll come back and look at my notes later in the day. So we're in the middle between two macros. It's kind of got this volume imbalance after the stop hunt, but we're seeing this seek and destroy kind of profile unfolding, which makes sense. It's between PD arrays on the 4-hour. Now it's kind of pushing below the PD arrays. Five-minute chart's not very clean. We can see the kind of zebra stripe barcode pattern here. That's a big indicator for me not to touch it. YM looks okay. YM has a, on the 15-minute, nice bullish reversal. C3 candle. So YM could be going for, could have done the stop hunt, pushing price up into this inefficiency on the 1-hour on the other assets. I feel like it's more bullish from this point. The only setup I would have had would have been this long on YM at the previous day low. I guess the 1 hour on NQ did stop hunt those two. It is providing an inversion here in the seek and destroy profile. SMT 1 hour stop hunt. Outside of macro though, but just kind of tape reading this here. So now it has swept this high up in here. There's a SMT starting to form. Currently NQ on the 1 minute's the lagging asset. So in my studies, if price is going to distribute, you really don't expect it to rebalance all the way down into here. But it might not. It might want to keep consolidating in this S&D profile before this news. So that's why I'm just tape reading this, is I don't have faith that it's not going to come all the way back down in here and just kind of keep going back and forth. So 950, we are in the macro. What I don't like is it took this high before coming back down to retest this inversion. But it could close above, creating an order block here. Very nice, order block. So here we got YM did a stop hunt. Now it's coming back into this inefficiency here that I wanted to see NQ come into. ES is also doing the same. All right, 6 minutes left on this 4-hour candle. Here on the 1 minute, just some high resistance. So these candles are closing near the open continually. We are 9:54. So here I would have gone break even on this trade now that it's at 1R. But I'm okay to miss this. I don't like when I see seek and destroy starting to form. All right, just waiting. Still waiting. Just gonna clean this up a little bit. That's just my note. Although I guess I can replace that with this. Whatever, doesn't matter. I'll clean it up later. YM is still running. ES is running with some strength. NQ is coming up into the previous day equilibrium in that 1 hour fair value gap. This is a zone I could be interested in a short, maybe. Kind of looking a little more bullish now. All right, 2 minutes until this red folder. One more minute. So here I'd probably be pushing my stop up, locking in some profits, allowing for some slippage if this news event pushed hard against me. Probably would close it manually. Although I guess that would be against my rules. Made new rules this weekend. I gotta get clear on what all the parts and pieces mean. It's like I'm now targeting 3R, but what about 2.5R? Like, if I don't think it's gonna go, do I manually get to close it, or do I not get to? Because if I'm targeting 3R and I manually close it here at 2.5, well, what is that? That's kind of breaking my rule, right? So, but it also feels like the intuition says it wants to roll over, but doesn't mean it can't tap into this previous day equilibrium first, giving me the full 3R. So this red folder did nothing. It was PMI, which isn't typically a big mover, but usually probably more than that, because that was like 140 ticks. You can see bigger candles in this run right up here. All right, so I want to hide this real quick. I'm actually kind of interested in all right, we got a new 4-hour candle. 4-hour closed bullish across all of the assets. Stop hunted this 4-hour candle, so 6 a.m. candle did the stop hunt. I'm guessing continuation at this point, even though we are deep into premium. Here on the 1 hour, closed above these. And while this could be the start of a retracement for a reversal down, I'm feeling like leaning bullish just because of the price action here. The daily could have tapped down into there. That's all it wanted. And now it's continuing bullish. So I still favor longs at this point. So YM did the stop hunt. We have PD array SMT with ES into the fair value gap. YM closed above the fair value gap. YM's the strongest asset. NQ's the weakest asset. So we're forming this 1 hour inefficiency currently. It's red because I want to be aware of it. The price can come down into here. On the 15-minute, similar kind of thing. We have this inefficiency here. So was noticing this gap here. We're just consolidating on it. Asia high and low have been taken. Be curious to see what plays out here. And maybe I need to gather more data, like how many of these setups. I did a bunch of testing this weekend, and a huge percentage of my trades that hit 3R. I usually hold for like 1.5, 2. Generally, I think I get 1.4 on average. So, but what I don't know is the way I looked at it. I guess in my testing was my stop loss went to break even at 1R, and then from there it was either 3R or break even. That's how I looked at it. Because price can do things like this where it comes down, it ticks out the liquidity below this candle, and then continues. We have no close below this fair value gap, so price can wick down below the gap. That's fine. As ICT says, allowing for some coloring outside of the lines. All right, so I'm not going to have anything in the next couple minutes, in the next 2 minutes in this macro. So I think I'm going to go grab my breakfast real quick. Be right back. All right, so like I expect, not much happened. Got my spicy scrambled eggs. I'm happy. And if I was in this trade, it would just be like killing me. Uh-oh, monitor flashing. Uh-oh. It didn't like that. Okay, everything's back. All of them are back. The YM's distributing bearishly, quite deeply. Oh, there we go. TP hit. That would have been 3R. Cool. Like I'm, of course, a part of me wishes that I would have taken it. I'm also just happy to see that like here's what I would have done and it played out. I had my reasons why I didn't want to be involved down in here. Right here in between PD arrays. It was outside of macro. We had a red folder soon. All three of those things combined is what made me hesitant. Had maybe one of those been just present, I probably would have gone for it. So YM had the long. There was a short here on YM too. Similar to even ES. ES came into one of the levels that I would have been interested for a short. It would be against my overall bias though, but with this liquidity below, so not very clean. We have SMTs all here at the highs. So there's a possibility for a continuation play coming up here soon. So we have SMT down in here, YM, ES tapped into that. $10.17. I don't trust price if it's in this zone. Still just waiting, being patient. Waiting until it's obvious, waiting until it's pretty freaking perfect for me. This is boring. Jeez. That's the part of trading, though. I'm feeling like the assets are a little out of sync for me. You can see YM on the 15-minute here is just coming down. Looks like it wants the liquidity down here. Whereas ES and YM, or excuse me, ES and NQ are correlated and decoupled from YM. So these are both delivering bullishly. YM could be the leading asset, which would make more sense given how high up in premium we are on the 4-hour, like I showed you up here. Way up into premium up in here would make more sense to come down, wipe some of this liquidity out before continuing on any further. We've taken external range, so I would anticipate internal range, even if it's just 50% of this level right down in here, let alone 50% of this whole swing. Oh, looks like we're starting to get some movement. All right, so liquidity has been taken down in there. I like that on the 15-minute. I want to see it come down, though. SMT is no longer present. We are backed by a higher time frame SMT. We will have an SMT down at these lows right here. So YM came down into the optimal trade entry zones, 0.75, 0.786 area, retesting midnight. But we have more targets towards sell side. There's no liquidity. There's not tons of liquidity residing up in here. We have these trend line liquidity. We have these inefficiencies. I feel like it wants to come down further. YM looks like it wants to drag it all down. Well, I just wait. 10:25. Looks like YM wants to sweep this low right here. All right, YM YM took that low. ES is looking bearish. YM is bearish. NQ looks a little bullish. I was just wanting to look back at this long play, and I remember talking about like what I would have done had I manually closed it somewhere in here, noticing the resistance, had I let it play out. And then I said, yeah, in my reviewing of all of my trades that I've taken, this is the rule I had was I went break even at 1R, and then I let it play out to either 3R or came back to break even. And then here, this candle took it by like 1 or 2 ticks, and I almost feel like that's God's way of like saying, trust it, it's going to be fine. Since then, we've just had basically high resistance on NQ. YM is moving. YM had the long, YM had the short. ES had a long. No, ES, there's a possibility I would have taken that short right there and then got caught in the chop because it was clean until that's, I hate it when this happens, but it's like clean creates a perfect inversion. You mark it in on this candle, and then look what happens right after you mark it in. It is chops. All right, 10:30, we're in between macros. I'm gonna go take a 5-minute break. Oh boy, there it is. Pretty early though, it's early. So support on previous day low, we have SMT. Equal lows here, I don't like that. All right, we'll go in. All right, so I guess what I'm trying to figure out is where 1R is, which is pretty much here. So my rule is go break even at 1R. Didn't quite make it there. Although that's probably my stop loss. So now we're above 1R, so I'm going break even. And 3R on this trade. And this is one of those things where 3R, I would probably override it just to make sure I get my fill. The 2.89 right there. So this is a free trade either way. I would expect some type of gap to form right there. But that response right there tells me it might come from my stop, so I can give it a little bit more room. But I'm just following my new rules, which is 1R, I go break even. So nice response off that fair value gap. I just want to see it push. After this high resistance, I want to see low resistance. If I'm on side, I could be off sides too. This one is such a hard to tell. And I'm going to get stopped out of break even. Probably. Trying to find the best spot for this. And what I do know is of the winning trades, 6% will get stopped at break even or so. So it's something I've come to accept, is that I can get stopped out on a winning trade. And I know that used to really bug me out previously, but I also know that it's part of the game now. So it doesn't really bug me out so bad because it saved me a bunch of times too. I like the 15-minute chart. It's looking bullish on NQ, but I also, oh, here we go. It's coming for me. All right, I'm out. So here is the trade. I had thought about, one of the things I haven't looked into a ton is like giving it just a little bit of room, because I've seen this before where it comes down, ticks me out at my entry, and then rips. But I don't have any, I didn't make any decisions on that, like say, you know, using this, giving it a little bit more room with this gap because it can color outside of the lines. And there wasn't tons of room between my entry and this gap. Just documenting my trade here. What I've found in my examination of higher quality setups is they don't tend to mess around like this. Not saying it can't be a winner, but when they start distributing like these candles from here to here, they tend to just kind of keep going like that if it's the distribution phase. Not saying it can't, because I certainly saw a few trades where it might lollygag around and then hit the target. But this makes me less confident in the setup anyway. I guess I could put the position tool back on until we see one way or the other. There we go. Looking a little better, but there's a tailless candle right there. I'll move this to the side. Alrighty, alrighty. Looks like it wants to roll over. And this is where it's important to do nothing. Like, no FOMO, like whatever you can go, oh, if price closes above here, I know we're bullish. Where is it? So I should enter here and long it, right? None of that. That stuff will get you, at least it gets me wrecked. Because we have a consolidation phase right here. So we saw an initial expansion off of 930. We had a Judas up, Judas down, expansion in the direction of the daily draw, in my opinion. And now it's just consolidating. YM took some lows down here, way down here. And ES is in the middle. There it goes, distributing for the target. And the only thing I'm noticing about this setup so far is I did notice if price retraced to my entry within the first couple of candles, it was still a good trade. Here it was 1, 2, 3, 3 and 4 candles. Probably should have given it some breathing room. But I also say if it goes to 1R, I got to go to break even. So, all right. So I was right about that. Probably. See, like on this setup, it would have gone long on this candle. Or where would it have been? Somewhere down in here. Probably a limit order retest. What was I going to say about this? Oh, how quickly it retested. First, second candle. That's what I was going to say. Look at that. Target smashed. So here I could have held for the full 3R. So that's 2 for 2 in terms of calls today. That feels pretty dang good. I don't feel like I'm going to get too many more chances with price, though. So yeah, I think looking around at the chart, seeing if I see anything. I think this was the move. I don't think there's going to be another opportunity here. Could be wrong. At least for me. So yeah, break even on the day. I called this long right over here. And I did not take it because price had several things going for it that had me concerned. If we look here at this, I'm just going to clean it up, put one back on here. Price was in between PD arrays. It was outside of macro, and there was an upcoming red folder. So I wanted to hold off on this trade. Would have been a 3RW. And then here, I followed my new rules. I entered my normal setup, but my new rules are if I'm targeting 3R, but if price hits 1R, which hit 1.5, I go break even. So price quickly hit 1.5R, I went break even. Kind of consolidated around entry, which is not what I typically want to see. And yeah, just got to think more about how quickly I want to go break even. Like if it's less than 5 candles, do I let it run into my entry for a little while and then move my stop loss? Like in this example here, maybe when this candle closed above this, changing a state and delivery, maybe then go break even or something, or this candle, I don't know. But it's still, I'm really happy to have been right twice today and had 3R play out twice today. That affirms to me that even though I didn't get the win, I still won, you know? That's a winning day when you're calling price right. And I'm grateful for that. So I guess I'll end the stream there and probably trade tomorrow. What do we got?